The United States and Canada, longtime allies, find themselves in a bitter trade dispute. Escalating tariffs have ignited tensions on both sides of the border. The Trump administration imposed tariffs on Canadian steel and aluminum. Canada swiftly retaliated, targeting key U.S. exports. This trade war injects uncertainty into the U.S. Canada trade relationship. It represents a significant strain on historically close ties. Amidst the escalating trade tensions, President Trump made a startling suggestion. Canada should consider joining the United States as its 51st state. This proposal, while seemingly made in jest, reflects a deeper sentiment within the Trump administration regarding Canada's trade practices. Trump has repeatedly accused Canada of taking advantage of the United States in trade deals, arguing that annexation would be a simpler solution than negotiating fair trade agreements. The annexation proposal was met with swift and resounding rejection from Canadians across the political spectrum. Prime Minister Justin Trudeau dismissed the idea as not even worth commenting on, while other Canadian politicians condemned it as absurd and insulting. Public opinion polls showed overwhelming opposition to the idea, with Canadians taking pride in their national identity and sovereignty. Trump's annexation comments, though likely intended to provoke, highlight the growing rift between the two countries. His rhetoric reflects a view of Canada as an economic rival rather than a close ally. This adversarial approach has further inflamed tensions and made it more difficult to find common ground on trade issues. The annexation proposal, while largely symbolic, underscores the seriousness of the trade dispute and the need for a negotiated solution. The economic and political fallout from a prolonged trade war would be significant for both countries. Finding a way to de-escalate tensions and return to a more cooperative relationship is essential for the well-being of both the United States and Canada. Prime Minister Justin Trudeau responded to the U.S. tariffs with a mix of defiance and pragmatism. While acknowledging the importance of the U.S. Canada relationship, Trudeau refused to back down in the face of what he considered to be unfair and unjustified trade actions. He condemned the Trump administration's tariffs as illegal and unacceptable, vowing to defend Canada's economic interests. Trudeau's government swiftly implemented retaliatory tariffs on a carefully selected list of U.S. goods. The targeted products were chosen to exert maximum political pressure on the Trump administration while minimizing the impact on Canadian consumers. The retaliatory tariffs were accompanied by a public relations campaign aimed at highlighting the close ties between the two countries and the potential economic damage of a trade war. Trudeau's response reflects a delicate balancing act. He is attempting to protect Canada's economic interests while preserving the broader relationship with the United States. His strategy involves a combination of firm resolve and a willingness to negotiate a mutually acceptable solution. The success of Trudeau's approach remains to be seen. The trade dispute has already had a negative impact on the Canadian economy, and a protracted trade war could have far-reaching consequences. However, Trudeau's firm stance has earned him praise at home and abroad for standing up for Canadian interests. The current trade war belies the deep economic integration between the United States and Canada. The two countries share a highly integrated supply chain, with goods and services flowing freely across the border. This interdependence is particularly evident in sectors like automotive manufacturing and energy production, where companies on both sides of the border rely on each other for essential inputs and markets. The automotive industry is a prime example of the interconnectedness of the United States and Canadian economies. Vehicles assembled in one country often contain parts sourced from the other, with components crossing the border multiple times during the manufacturing process. The imposition of tariffs on automotive goods threatens to disrupt this integrated supply chain, increasing costs and reducing efficiency for manufacturers on both sides of the border. Beyond the automotive sector, the United States and Canada are major trading partners in energy. Canada is a leading supplier of crude oil and natural gas to the United States, while the United States exports refined petroleum products and electricity to Canada. This energy trade is essential for meeting the energy needs of both countries and supporting economic growth. The deep economic ties between the United States and Canada make a trade war particularly damaging. Disrupting this integrated economic relationship through tariffs and other trade barriers harms businesses, workers, and consumers on both sides of the border. It is in the best interest of both countries to find a way to resolve their differences and return to a more cooperative and mutually beneficial trading relationship.